Welcome to Better Living with Adrienne. We're joined with Brenda Bence, my brand management expert. Brenda, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Now, we're talking about brand management as it relates to the entrepreneur. And there are a lot of us out there, you know, and we can even think of ourselves, even if we work for a company, we each have this own sense of our own company within us. Everybody is really an entrepreneur. And especially with the job force the way it is, a lot of people that want to go into business for themselves. Maybe there might be some more stability there. But you say there are some key core elements that relate to a personal brand and a company brand to make sure that it stays strong. So talk to us about that.
One of the things I see with entrepreneurs often is they get so wrapped up in the company brand. What's the company stand for? What do they want the company to achieve? They often lose their own personal brand. They lose sight of it. They get wallowed up inside of it and they lose their own identity. And that's really important to keep those identities separate. What's your personal brand and what's your company brand?
Now, why is it, first of all, why is it dangerous to keep them separate? Why is it dangerous to make them mesh? But then I'm thinking, don't you want them to mesh?
Well, you certainly do want them to mesh. But the point is, do they override? Does one override the other? And so you just absolutely swallow up the other one and it's gone. That's
so are you
really
almost
key.
saying that it's important to keep your identity while you're a business owner,
Absolutely.
while you're trying to go into business?
Being able to separate those two is really fundamental to success, I believe, as an entrepreneur.
Okay, tell us, yes.
And long term, it's very important too, because if your name, your brand, your individual brand is so tied up in the company, let's say it's time for retirement, it's time for you to sell the company, if you're not part of it, there's not much of a company left. So those companies where the brand person, the individual is so powerful within it, makes it very hard to sell.
So in other words, you want to keep the brand so that it can go on in perpetuity.
Absolutely.
Without necessarily your input, which then, as you said, long term makes it more successful for that company to be. Now, before that, you know, that's kind of what you would say the entrepreneur's goal would be. But prior to that, in the beginning, why is it dangerous to get the two so intertwined to where why your personal brand overpowers the business brand? Why is that dangerous?
Well, again, because both the company and the individual can run into problems, and you don't want one of them to impact the success of the other. The company has problems, you don't want to hurt your brand. You maybe have some personal problems, you don't want that to impact your corporate brand too. So there's some beauty to keeping it separate, keeping the corporate brand and the personal brand separate, but still meshing enough.
Okay, and having said that, as much as you want to keep it separate, you also want, for happiness, as you say, to make sure that there are some similarities.
Absolutely, and usually it's related to character. If you think about the character of a brand and the character of a company and the character of yourself, that's what you want. You want to make sure there's a nice mesh in there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you, Adrienne.
And that's Better Living.